Welcome to the deep dive. We take source material you're interested in and we pull out the key stuff fast.
Yep, straight to the insights.
So today we're looking at something really unexpected. It's this scene right after a productivity seminar. Things might have gone a bit sideways with the guru, this guy called the Spellbinder.
Mm-hmm. Bit of drama, maybe?
Exactly. And our source is some excerpts from chapter3.pdf. So the seminar's ending, the room's clearing out.
And these three very different people start talking. Like, really different.
Totally. An entrepreneur, an artist, and a homeless man. So why should you care? Well, it's fascinating for understanding, how people react when things get weird.
Yeah, and different takes on self-help, plus maybe finding depth where you least expect it.
Okay, so these three characters, it's the contrast that really hits you first, right?
Absolutely. You've got the entrepreneur, she looks the part,
Yeah.
professional, driven at this seminar for business reasons, seemingly.
Yep.
But maybe there's something else going on underneath. Then the artist, total creative type, seems like a fan of the guru.
Yeah, he seemed kind of rattled by whatever happened.
Mm-hmm. And then bam, the homeless man shows up and just disrupts everything.
Let's start with the entrepreneur. The description paints quite a picture. Angular face, seen a thing or two maybe, business suit, but then this big bow tie.
Yeah, slightly unusual touch there.
She talks about productivity, cognitive assets, very seminar speak.
Right, sounds like she wants that edge.
But the text hints it's more than that. Like she's searching for hope, maybe trying to save her company or herself.
Yeah, there's that suggestion.
And she's skeptical from the get-go, wants to keep up that businesswoman front. What do you make of her initially?
Well, it's that split, isn't it? The professional goal, cognitive assets, results. That's clear.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get these hints like sad eyes, old hurts, current chaos. It feels much more personal under the surface.
Yeah, like is productivity just a means to a different end for her? A deeper need, maybe?
Exactly. What's really driving her to be there? It makes you wonder.
Okay, then the artist. Visually, he's something else. Heavy guy, goatee, black clothes, those Aussie boots.
And the tattoos. You can't miss those.
No kidding. Rich people are fakers. And I don't do drugs. I am drugs. Quoting Dali, I guess.
Seems like it. Definitely making a statement.
He says he's there for creativity, wants to make his mark.
Yeah, like leave something enduring.
But he's also nervous about the Spellbinder incident, even though he clearly admires the guy. It's an odd mix.
It is. The look is pure rebellion, right? Anti-establishment.
Cool.
But the nervousness
Yeah.
that shows vulnerability, maybe the Spellbinder is like a real inspiration for him. So seeing something happen is genuinely upsetting.
Makes sense. Even rebels look up to someone, I suppose.
Suggests a connection there.
And then the whole scene gets flipped upside down by the homeless man.
Right. He just kind of appears loudly.
Described with wild person hair, needs a shave, clothes are torn, and his first words are basically asking if the guru's dead.
It's jarring, isn't it? It just crashes into this, self-improvement vibe.
Yeah. He's so clearly not the typical attendee. What's the effect of that kind of entrance?
It just breaks the mood completely. The entrepreneur, the artist, they're probably in a certain headspace after the seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy arrives looking like he does, saying what he says. It forces them to confront something totally outside their bubble.
And challenge their assumptions, maybe, about who belongs where, what success looks like.
Exactly. Raises all sorts of questions.
And the entrepreneur's reaction is instant.
Yeah.
And pretty harsh.
Yeah. Total crackpot, she thinks.
Right. Even compares him to Mother Teresa, but, sarcastically.
Yeah.
She's wondering how he even got in. She seems really put off.
Well, it speaks volumes about her worldview, doesn't it? Very conventional. Appearance equals status equals worth. He doesn't fit the mold, so boom, judgment, dismissal. Maybe it's a way to, restore her sense of order after he disrupts it.
Makes sense.
But the artist, initially he seems to agree, calls him insane.
But then he notices something, this massive watch the guy's wearing.
Ah, the watch. Yes. That detail.
Doesn't quite fit the rest of the picture, does it?
Not at all. And that's the first crack in the judgment, isn't it? That little inconsistency.
Yeah, it makes you pause. Makes them pause, maybe. Think, okay, maybe there's more here.
Exactly. Look again. Don't just rely on the surface stuff.
And then the homeless man just drops this incredible claim.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes.
Says he made his fortune because of the Spellbinder, lived a world-class life, all thanks to the seminar teachings.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a statement.
And he starts talking philosophy, how top performers make things happen, secret methods, the technology, he calls it, tactics, tools. Even mentions a fiercely productive morning routine.
It's so strange, right? The image, the tattered clothes versus this, like, confident, knowledgeable tone. Talking about success principles.
Totally bizarre. And then there are other details, a jagged scar, a beaded necklace, adds more mystery. What grabs you about those claims?
It's a direct challenge to expectations. We're just, conditioned to link appearance and success. He blows that up and talk about secret philosophies, technology. That's the kind of stuff people at the seminar are looking for. But coming from him, it makes you question who gets access to this stuff, who benefits.
And the scar, the necklace, hints of a life story that's definitely not ordinary.
Adds to the whole enigma. Who is this guy?
And he seems to know the seminar content cold. Recall specific themes the spellbinder covered.
Like what?
Psychology of genius, billionaire productivity hacks, neurobiology of performance, even this idea of like a duty to be legendary for humanity. Heavy stuff.
Okay, so he wasn't just wandering in off the street then. He was actually listening.
Seems like it. And the artist is totally eating it up, agrees enthusiastically.
Right, and admits he recorded the whole thing.
Yeah, secretly recorded the presentation. What does that shared knowledge suggest?
Well, for the homeless man, it backs up his story a bit, right?
Yeah.
Shows he was engaged, lends some credibility. And for the artist, it shows how much the spellbinder's message hit home for him. And maybe suggests he's willing to bend the rules to get what he needs creatively.
Which brings us to the entrepreneur's reaction. She immediately points out, hey, recording that, probably illegal, very by the book.
Of course, consistent with her character.
But even she admits, some of it clicked with her. Needs time to think about it.
So she's not totally dismissing the content itself.
No. And then the artist goes off on this justification, quote, Picasso learned the rules like a pro, break them like an artist.
Ah, the classic artist defense.
Totally. Says he wants to be authentic, calls most rich people frauds.
Ouch, strong words.
And he quotes something he says, the spellbinder said, you can fit in, or you can change the world.
Okay, so he's really embracing that whole outsider disruptor thing.
Definitely. Shows off a Jimi Hendrix tattoo, too, with the quote about the power of love overcoming the love of power.
Wow. So you have these really different responses side by side, the rule follower and the rule breaker.
Exactly. What's that tell us about them?
Well, the entrepreneur sticks to structure, probably avoids risk. The artist, he's all about self-expression, even if it means defiance. Deeply suspicious of anything fake, especially conventional success. The quotes he uses show he's looking for like a higher truth through art.
But here's where it gets really interesting with the entrepreneur. Despite judging the homeless man, despite the warning about the recording, she tells the artist to play it.
Oh, okay. That's a shift.
Yeah. And inside, she's having this whole internal debate, wondering if maybe she needs to be broken down for a breakthrough.
Wow.
Like maybe this whole weird situation, the seminar, the artist, the guru's words, it's all setting her up for something bigger, her own greatness.
So its skepticism is still there.
Oh yeah, she's still got that businesswoman side. But something's definitely opening up. She's considering possibilities.
That's huge.
She even internally vows to embrace change. Thinks about that Theodore Roosevelt quote, the man in the arena.
The one about being in the fight, not criticizing from the sidelines.
That's the one. And she remembers Spellbinder saying something about pushing through when you want to quit.
So the message is getting through, despite her defenses.
Seems like it. There's this rising hope inside her, this feeling like maybe a very special adventure is starting. What do you think about that internal change?
It's really the heart of it, isn't it? It shows that even someone seemingly rigid can be affected by the unexpected. Those quotes she recalls. She's actively searching for meaning, for guidance in this confusing moment. That little crack in the armor, that willingness to just consider. That's often where real growth starts.
Right when things are getting deep, though. The homeless man says he has to bounce.
Of course he does. Got to keep the mystery going.
Claims he has a meeting with a jet on a runway.
A jet. Okay. Right.
And quotes Warren Buffett about rich people investing in time.
Adding another layer of, is this guy for real?
The entrepreneur is definitely not buying it. She even throws another Buffett quote back at him, something about expensive suits looking cheap on Buffett himself. Still skeptical.
Understandable. It's a pretty wild claim.
And the artist actually agrees with her, says the guy's behavior is not cool, questions his surfer slang.
So even the artist thinks he's laying it on a bit thick now.
Seems so. But what does the homeless man do?
Let me guess.
Hmm.
Doubles down.
You got it. Confirms he is a surfer from Malibu originally, now Tamarind Bay. And kind of implies they wouldn't even know where that is.
A little condescending, maybe?
A touch. And then claims he built profitable companies while, billion-dollar firms are failing. Criticizes too much greed, not enough good sense.
Okay, so he's positioning himself as not just successful, but like smart successful, principled even.
Yeah. And his parting shot. He insists on knowing what they liked best about the Spellbinders talk.
Huh. Why that? What's the point of that final question? Maybe. Maybe it's a final test. Or maybe he genuinely wants to connect on the ideas despite everything else, or just leave them thinking. It solidifies his complexity. He's not just making claims, he's engaging with the substance too.
So let's try and pull this together. What are the big takeaways from this whole encounter, this chance meeting?
Well, it's a collision of worlds, isn't it? Three people, three totally different ways of looking at self-improvement, success, authenticity.
Yeah. And the homeless man is this walking question mark, constantly making you rethink your assumptions.
Absolutely. He's the catalyst.
Yeah.
But maybe the biggest thing is that shift in the entrepreneur, that subtle opening up.
That crack in the facade.
Exactly. It really drives home how quick we are to judge based on appearances and how wrong we can be.
Mm-hmm.
The homeless man, whatever his actual story is, forces us to consider that knowledge success. It can show up in really unexpected packages.
And the entrepreneur's journey, even just internally in this short scene, shows that maybe being open to those unexpected sources, questioning your own beliefs, that's how transformation can start.
Yeah, even if it comes from someone you initially dismissed as a crackpot.
Okay, so here's something for you, the listener, to really chew on. Think about your own first impressions of these three characters as we described them.
The businesswoman, the tattooed artist, the homeless guy.
Did those impressions change as we went deeper into their interaction? What does this whole strange meeting suggest about, I guess, the potential hidden inside people we might normally overlook?
And about the weird, unconventional ways we might actually find real insight or, even success? Could it be that sometimes the most valuable lessons, the real breakthroughs, come from way out of left field, from the places you'd absolutely never expect?